This is SoulCharge, the podcast for women leaders to take the highest level of ownership of their power to create results now. I'm your host, Stacy B. Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of SoulCharge. I think that today's episode might just be my very favorite topic. It's one that is truly the foundation of SoulCharge, of what we are here to do, of what I am here to awaken in leaders. And so it is my privilege and honor to talk with you today on this episode and to discuss today the multidimensional leader, the multidimensional leadership program, which is SoulCharge, this operating system that is the truth of who we are as leaders and is what is truly ready to emerge in each of you. Each of you listening, you listener that is listening right now, is ready to stop denying the truth that your business, that your success externally is either capped off or thriving based on your personal evolution. It is time to stop denying the truth that is business is a spiritual game. We are playing the most important, incredible game, which is business, which is time to understand and grasp, and not just grasp, but actually harness this power that is true to who we are as leaders, that is merging the practical with the mystical, that is bringing our spirits into business. What that means, we're going to break down today. We're going to dive into what it means to be a multidimensional leader and what it looks like to really harness the superpower that is you. What this episode is about today is bringing all of you on deck. It is bringing all of you and hit that home run and to stop denying the pieces and parts of yourselves that are absolutely the missing piece, the secret sauce to your success, to your next level, to what you are here to do. So when I talk about being a multidimensional leader and what leadership looks like under that energy, with that energy, intertwined with that energy, the first thing that I want you to wrap your head around is that multidimensional leadership is mind, body, spirit. It is being connected. It is connection with yourself and with others. But really, what it boils down to is a holistic truth to leadership. We so far have been taught leadership in a very one-dimensional way. And the way in which leadership is trying to emerge through me and through you and through us as a collective is by wanting us to understand that our minds, our bodies, our spirits all must come to the table to bring our visions to life. By connecting with ourselves deeply in these three ways, we are going to be able to connect with our creator, whatever your beliefs are, source, universe, God. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I am telling you it's time to believe, right? I'm not telling you who to believe in. I'm telling you, it's time to believe in you and connect with you so that you can connect to your creator and tap into that incredible, empowering energy. So when I talk about mind, body, spirit, for many of you listening, you have moved through the world not being embodied for a long time, especially if you are a woman leader that is listening. Being embodied has been the thing that has been missing. And you need to go back and listen to the last few episodes, the series that I did about merging the mystical and the practical, because listening back to that and really getting into your body means you have to feel. And feeling is a superpower. Tuning into your energy is a superpower. And it's time to stop denying that superpower. And so go back and listen to those prior episodes, because this idea of multidimensional leadership means that the spiritual world and the logical, the action-oriented and the intentional, the manifestation and the metrics, the resonance instead of resistance is all coming to a head, baby. And it is coming to a head on this episode today. We're taking it all out of the bag and diving into these very important topics. Mind, body, spirit is something that you often hear if you're going to a yoga class, right? You often hear if you're going to maybe a retreat or a spiritual center, but it's time to bring them into business, because when you are bringing your brilliant mind, your brilliant vision, your brilliant heart, aka spirit, your powerful connection to your creator to the table, and your body, meaning how you walk through the world, and your presence is so powerful that when you can bring this secret sauce together as a collective, your impact, your influence, and your actions are so powerful and so direct. They're so intentional. And one piece of effort is equal to hundreds of prior efforts in the past, because you're making effort from an aligned place. You are intentional about the effort you are making, aligning with your powerful vision, and you are fueled by spirit. You are fueled by your spiritual side. And when you are fueled in that way, everything is a different game. You start to play the game of alignment instead of the game of achievement, which I've talked about before. So you have figured out how to be successful, and you have gotten to the place you are in life, which is beautiful, by the way, incredible. But you've gotten there through stress. You've gotten there through hard work. You've gotten there by proving yourself, and you've gotten there by grinding. And if you are listening to this episode, I need you to hear me here. That just by you listening to this episode, things are about to get a lot easier, and they're about to change dramatically in your life, because this episode is your portal. It is your opening into a world, into a life, into a level of success that isn't built by striving and hustle and grinding and force, but it is creating your destiny and your life on purpose and intentionally in power. It is about moving through the world in the truth of who you are versus the conditioned you, the you that has learned that to be loved, that to achieve, that to get the things that you want in life. It takes effort in a way that isn't always a feeling of natural effort. There is a world that is ready for you to claim, that is about you making effort from an aligned place. It is reassociating you with stress and not letting stress drive you, but inspiration drive you, energy lead you, purpose lead you, versus who you think you have to be leading the way, who you think you have to be for your family, or to be accepted in society, or to be someone to matter. That doesn't have to be the way anymore. I was recently speaking at an incredible event, a group of entrepreneurs, and one of the men in the event gave an incredible example that is such a kickoff to what I want to communicate in this episode. The example that he gave was this idea of dark and light. And so what he was explaining was, he has built many successful businesses, made millions and millions of dollars, but he's felt that the way in which he created that was from the darkness. In other words, stress to prove, right? To fulfill the ego in some way, or to achieve, and it was hard, and it was this struggle, and it was full of these long days and long nights and all of this stress. And what he was trying to explain to me was he wanted to disconnect from the darkness and plug into the light. And I had given him an example, which is what I want to talk about, the heartbeat of this episode today with all of you. And that is that you have likely created the success that you have in your life by doing. You have likely created the success in your life by achieving things. And I like to associate that with calling that behavior the technician. So you have done a really good job at being the technician. You're probably the one that everyone goes to when something needs to happen. You're probably someone that people go to when they get stuck in a bind. I'm sensing this is landing for you. When you are in technician energy, here's what you have to know, is that you are not leading yourself or your team. You're probably jumping in and getting in the way of your team thriving, making mistakes, and figuring things out on their own. You're probably of the belief that you're the only one that can do it and do it right. If you're in this technician energy, the focus is on getting more things done and what doing more means to you. And that, what doing more means, is actually what is holding you back. Because on the other side of being a technician is leadership. On the other side of being a technician, it's leadership. And in leadership, it's not a game of unplugging from the darkness to plug into the light. It's deciding that the truth of you, the truth of who you are, is the light. You've just plugged into the darkness. So all you got to do is unplug. And this feathers so beautifully into SoulCharge, because if I could articulate to you what SoulCharge represents for leaders, is unplugging from the lie, from the conditioning, and plugging into the truth of who you are. Because the truth of who you are, your inner state, is enough to fuel you in everything you desire, in that fulfillment of what you want, your dreams, the material success, and the internal fulfillment. The problem has been that at some point, we misunderstood how things work, and instead thought that these external forces, and in this example I'm giving you from the man that I'm referencing here, it was more about the drive that was caused in us when we plugged into the quote unquote darkness, right? That's what I'm calling it here, just because I thought it was such a beautiful example to bring to all of you. The fact of the matter is it's actually more work to plug into the darkness than it is to be in your light. That's the truth. Being in stress and letting stress be your internal locus of control, your internal mode of energy, actually is more work than it is to be you and be fueled by the beautiful energy that is the truth of who you are. And so when we think about the fact of the matter, which is as achievers, as high functioning leaders, we have been taught and thrived on the addiction to achievement. We have thrived on the addiction to stress. And this is also your invitation to go back to the early episodes of this podcast and listen to the 8 Addiction series. I am excited to announce that SoulCharge now offers in-person classes at our Boise, Idaho headquarters. If you are a leader that is looking to claim your next level, you are looking to activate that level of conviction you know is within you, but you feel stuck or uncertain of what's next. Maybe you feel misaligned with what you're currently doing and knowing that there is a next level for you to unlock, SoulCharge classes are for you. In my own journey, I saw a lot of resources out there that were specific in energy work or spiritual work, or siloed into business performance coaching or business performance. And I wanted a merge of all the worlds. I wanted a merge of the practical meeting the mystical. And how can we harness our internal state and the energy that is truly us and have that result in more aligned and purposeful business outcomes? And so I created SoulCharge. SoulCharge is the first and only leadership operating system for the leaders that want to harness the mystical and the practical and create a life that they love and incredible results in the process. If this interests you, join us. The first experience at SoulCharge is complimentary. Click on the link below to learn more, and we look forward to seeing you at a SoulCharge location near you, because this is your opportunity to see and be free. It's your opportunity to see that the thing that's been driving you is not productive. In fact, it's actually a huge energy suck, and you have an opportunity to start being charged by the soul, by your inner wisdom, by your intuition, by how you feel, by your body, instead of the external accolades, the external reward, the external affirmation, what other people want, prioritizing that, thus disconnecting. You see, part of why, again, going back to this lovely example, part of why we have found that it's easier to be driven by stress versus our internal compass is because the external stress is driven by other people, and it's easier for us as humans to let that drive us than get into our soul, get into the quiet of our being. It's easier because it's a quicker hit. It's a quicker high. It's a quicker upper. You don't have that when you're soul charged, my friends. Because being soul charged isn't about the high, it's about the impact. It's about the leadership, and it's about being a multidimensional leader. It's about a holistic approach to leadership versus being stressed and fragmented and disconnected and running over people to achieve your goals, or, bulldozing over people to achieve what you want. The multidimensional leader trades in the resistance of that way of being and prioritizes resonance. The multidimensional leader understands intuition and gets more curious about that feeling. The multidimensional leader understands that where energy and effort intersect is where the magic happens. It's where your spirit and sales come together and creates outcomes beyond anything that you could imagine. You see, being multidimensional is not theory. It is not some future state. It is not some aspirational invitation I'm making to you. It's the truth of who you are. You just forgot because the world's got its hands on you and on me and on us. And so this is not about becoming something. It's relaxing into who you really are. And when we talk about this multidimensional idea, what we're saying is you are multifaceted. And it's time to acknowledge the truth of that. For so long, I know you. I see you because I was you. Something's not working at the business, and so your personal life suffers. You don't feel great, and so you grab that extra thing of caffeine, right, to get through the day, to achieve and to function and in that extreme, high-functioning way you've been used to operating. But there is an operating system that is no more force, but flow. There is this operating system where you get to bring your whole self to the table and you get to acknowledge and honor your intuition as if your intuition is on the board of directors of your company. That is what I am asking you to see this as. Your gut reaction, your intuition for so long has been pushed to the side. You are a multifaceted, multidimensional leader, which means it's your heart and your head now, baby. It is not just your head. It is not just your logic. The emergence of the intersection between heart and head and soul is what we stand for and what you are being asked to elevate into. If you are listening to this, it is because you are a multidimensional leader, and it is time to wake up to that truth. It is time to see that your mind, body, and spirit all get to come online. They all get to come together. To stop getting your significance for what you do, to being that technician in your life, to getting the significance from how deeply connected you are to you, and using that as your baseline, as your GPS, as the inspiration to where you want to go. So in a lot of our episodes together, I like to, of course, bring these ideas into a practical application. But this episode needs to stay in your heart. Your heart needs to feel the resonance of this episode, because you are currently living on some level in a fragmented way. And being multidimensional means that you don't know all the answers, but that you are committed to moving through the world in the truth of who you are as a multidimensional, multifaceted leader who is committed to bringing mind, body, and spirit all to the table, who is committed to leaving the technician energy behind and claiming leadership. Because what that activates in you is synchronicity and magic and alignment and manifestation. This is the epicenter of it all. This conversation is the core of it all. Manifestation and synchronicities and things working out exactly how you want them to comes from the fact and ownership and connection and certitude of being a multidimensional leader. What I intend that you take away from this episode is reverence for you, reverence for who you are and who you be and what you are meant to do in this world. That you have a reverence for your presence alone. That you start to recognize that by you not doing anything, that is your leadership. If you are willing to surrender to the fact that your presence alone is your leadership, not the tactics, not the strategy, but you surrender to your energy, the incredible, powerful, energetic being that you are. And you start to get comfortable with that space, and you start to lean into who you are at that level. It's about surrendering to who you be. And when you listen to this episode, there is going to be something ignited in you. That is the takeaway. That is what you are meant to take away from this episode, whether it's the ignition, the energy that's ignited in you because you hear how passionate and intentional I am about this work, or if it is something that I say specifically that you are like, I no longer am going to be in that technician energy. I am fully committed to leadership and what that means for me. What you take away from this is exactly what you are meant to take away from this. But I will leave you with this. Being a multidimensional leader is an incredible opportunity, and it's time to take it seriously. It's time to stop denying parts of yourself that want to emerge in the way you lead your life and business. It is time to start looking at the fact that you are this multifaceted leader. It's time to look at the fact that you are chosen. You are chosen to lead a movement. You are chosen to lead your life. You are chosen to be mindful of your presence and how you're showing up in the world in such a beautiful way. And this is your permission slip. This is your invitation. This is your notice that it's time. It's time to lean into what that means for you. Are you loving SoulCharge? If so, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share an episode. We want to bring powerful content to women leaders each week so that women can be unleashed to create the results that they want now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.